Right, it's working now. Hey, I'm sitting here with James. James has asked me to go and look at something on the computer, which I am. This is Wikipedia. This page was last edited, as James has just told me, on the 11th of January, which is today, at 15:15. That's only a couple of hours ago, isn't it, James?
Yes, pretty much, yeah.
And look, James, explain it. It's actually number 13959. Trump did this on the 12th of November. Explain it, James.
Right. Basically, it's a very shrewd move because they've obviously. I mean, it comes to a thing. If this world was real, when Silicon Valley can dictate and deplatform a US president who is allegedly the most powerful man in the world.
Is that why they tried to cut him off Facebook and everything?
Yes, I think this would explain this desperation to get him out when he's only got a matter of what's he got 10 days left as president? If he's not back in, so what? It's like, so why are they so desperate? But now that sort of makes sense. So it says it's prohibiting investment in communist Chinese military companies.
But how does that work when they had the military UN games at Wuhan in October 2019?
Well, this was only done last year. This was only done last November, this executive order. It's that saying about being wise as serpents, staying one jump ahead of the game. So from what they said on the Simon Parkes channel, they were expecting it to be tomorrow or Wednesday, but I suppose it's if the Chinese get wind of it, they've struck first. But there's talk of nuclear weapons, whether they're neutron ones, who knows? I mean, this could get quite colourful, shall we say? But,
oh my God!
Don't feel the fear of it. All I would say is just to everybody is just sort of do the best you can. If your internet or everything goes down, you know why. Don't give in. Don't feel the fear of it. This is the important
I actually thought though they'd have been keeping the internet going because. What's the point of being in a war if no one can watch like the news? They want us to be watching the news because.
Well, no, that's obviously all in place because I don't know if you remember because I was saying to people when it happened, I said, don't you realise those presidential phone alerts are basically telling you they know who you are and where you are? But that was a test, but they never test for what? Nothing ever happened with that after that.
So why did Trump do this when he wasn't really? Well, I know he's president till January, but he's only acting president, and he signed that order in November.
Because he's had to follow all the sort of civilian procedure first. I mean, the last resort is obviously really to say declare war, isn't it? Really, you wouldn't do that as a first move because. The civilians involved. You're responsible for a large number of people making.
Is that why they've shut down all the flying and everything? Well, they're pretending it's all for this, aren't they? But we know it's a lie.
Yeah. Well,
I knew something was going to be happening in the next few days. I told you, didn't I?
There's all sorts of things about there's supposed to be some huge, great underground place in China near Wuhan where they do human experiments, and it's linked to child trafficking on the Silk Road. So, I mean, this is massive if it's true. There's also, I mean, it's going around on the internet, the Pope has been arrested for sex
allegations. Yeah, but that happened in March, that arrest.
Yeah. Oh, right.
It didn't happen yesterday, so I don't know why everybody's gone loopy about it now.
Well, this is the trouble. I mean, I got sent a message that Mike Pence has disappeared and Pelosi's laptop has been confiscated.
Is Pence Trump's vice president? I can't remember now.
Yeah, they made that.
Well, he got given a coin the other day, didn't it? It was you telling me. It's all running out like the Bible.
Well, he's playing the Judas part in that. That's his 30 pieces of silver symbolically. You know how they love to play this theatre out. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't verify how much of this is true or not. It's just, I mean, my source is off the internet, so I'm no wiser than anybody else. It just sort of makes sense that when you hear the things about
mind you, the 11th was all to do with the planetary thing. The 11th, I remember that Claudio's been talking about it for days.
11-1, you've got the 111 thing, so you've got the astrological thing with this as well. And this actually astrologically, the 11th today is when Mercury is shot across the sky. That ties in perfectly, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's all good. I mean, today I feel wonderful. I've just made that video while I'm singing on it, so I do. I feel I mean, it's a beautiful song. It says, "Don't you know that Rome wasn't built in a day?" But I've got it right in front of me, actually. It's, "You and me were meant to be walking free in harmony. One fine day we'll fly away. Don't you know that Rome wasn't built in a day?" Well, if we're roaming, we're free, not their type of Rome. I envisage the world being a huge, great garden.
Oh my God! Sorry, on this thing, I
up.
just realised what it says over it. It says 13959, an executive order on addressing the threat from security investments and finance communist Chinese military companies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yes, quite interesting. So I would imagine it will start having ripple effects. So Amazon will be. I mean, they're a big offender. Their dirty tactics, what they've been doing to people who've got online businesses. Same probably with eBay. I know of someone who has had a successful business, and the algorithms, they think, they start up a rival company doing this, like children's clothes and things, and then they undercut.
God, look at that. The goal is addressing the threat from security investment finances, communist Chinese military companies. So basically, it's like China's come to take over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I thought it was bizarre back in 2015. I thought, why are the US buying railway wagons from China? Can't they make their own? The size of the United States, and it was like, I thought that was all about reviving the US steel industry. So I mean, that didn't make sense. I mean, everything here is pretty much made in China. It's ridiculous. But
well, this is why Trump's been quite quiet then after he signed this, isn't it? This is why he's been so quiet for weeks.
I mean, well, by design, they've made every nation so they can't be independent. They're all interdependent on trade. That's one of the reasons for the EU. I know for...
Do you know what, though? That list of Chinese, most of them are corporations.
I know from personal experience at Felixstowe-Docks when I worked there that when the US economy is affected, Felixstowe-Dock can be adversely affected, and suddenly it goes very quiet.
Oh yeah, it starts in 2015, James. It started the 15th of the 12th, 2020. Sorry, it's because they put their dates the other way around. I thought it was said the 15th. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, they do months and then day, which is, it can be confusing, because especially...
Well, don't you think he should have told us and told everybody that this might be happening in December, not now?
Oh, I remember seeing something about the executive order. But I mean, there's so much happens, and it's also, well, what do you believe on the internet? Because remember, it's all controlled anyway. I mean, how much? The fact it's on Wiki, it's like, and the speed it's gone up there. That does make you wonder. I'm so neutral on this and just being an observer. If we got a huge, massive firework display in the sky, it probably means there's something's happened somewhere else in the world. But,
well, do you know what it made me realise? That Wuhan Games is all to do with the military and the UN. So UN is one. So basically, they're already telling us the military are running everything then.
Well, if I can use a little bit of etymology, there's a word or a name, HU, obviously the first part of human, which is connected to a god. So they put their inverted M, which is a W, and make WHO. So they've turned from who into who, which is basically the umbrella of all of it, because it's the World Health Organization that have tried to ban autopsies on alleged deaths from the thing, which Italy went against and found there's no of the thing that everybody's wearing diapers for.
Well, they really went for Italy anyway, didn't they? Because they had the most cases than anybody. So I don't understand how they can say they didn't when they actually put out that they did. This is crazy. This is like, what? So we don't want to make this video too long. We've been going for nearly 10 minutes now. Just explain what you think's happening, James.
I think, well, this is basically we're at the end of what is known as the Great Age, a 25,920 year zodiac cycle. We start a new one. This is a huge turning point. We are going into a platinum age, and it's going to be wonderful. This is all part of the theatre, but obviously, I mean, there is corruption in the world, and this is, if this is true, this should hopefully sort it all out. We shall see. But then there's also to bear in mind the Revelations scripts that the beast rules for 42 months, again ties in with
So
the
why do you think
astrology.
this was kept away from us and is only coming out now?
Because I mean, well, if they were to put things up on the internet, then obviously the Chinese and everybody else would see it as well.
So that's why you think it might happen today, because they've just put it up, so they've actually announced it, and then they'll do something.
Yeah.
It might not be affecting us. It might affect America, mightn't it?
Well, the ramifications, obviously, because, well, the media, the internet, the social media is all basically international.
It becomes effective from today. It wasn't effective in November. On November,
no,
it says effective on the 11th of January.
It's signed then and brought into force today.
Yeah.
That's what it's meaning. But I mean, you got some of the biggest media offenders are things like the BBC. So I think there would be ramifications, and they will get roped in and shut down as well, hopefully.
So that's why they're being shut down, because they're all the corporations that did this to us.
It comes back to thought manifestation. I mean,
but we know that Trump's not working with us.
You said it, but you've said it many times. Switch off the television. Maybe the televisions are being switched off, which will be no bad thing either.
No, so that's good, James.
I'm quite optimistic about this.
I know, but I don't. I'm a bit confused with it all. So this whole thing that Trump signed is to sort out places like the BBC and stuff like that. I mean, I know it's not his country. I mean, obviously, Boris
it will have a knock-on effect because all the world media have basically said Biden is president when he's not, because Trump is still president. They'd already decided before the elections were even over.
I know, but they all work together. They've got the same boss.
Yeah. We don't forget it follows the thing of divide and conquer as well. So,
do you still think Trump will be in? Do you think something will happen to Biden and it'll be Trump?
I think Trump will be back in, and I personally want him to be back in because it fits with the script shown in Revelations. It's going in the right direction to where this whole nonsense.
So when Nancy asked for his impeachment the other day, it was to try and stop this.
More than likely. Well, I mean, they're talking about her laptop was confiscated, so there must be something on there.
This person who keeps going, I want the president impeached. I want the president impeached. Well, she plays Hillary as well. She's Hillary and somebody else deepfakes. But now she's involved. Oh my God, what is going on?
They're all involved, aren't they? You don't get to that level in politics unless you're in the club, you know.
Well, that's if they're real. But James, we're going to finish this video. Is there anything else you want to say as we're...
Just keep in good spirits. Believe and trust in your spirit inside yourself, and don't feel the fear. Because
just see this as part of the game.
If you feel fear, you'll draw towards you what you don't want.
You can't be having a great big military exercise in Wuhan where they're all there and it's called the UN and they're all working together. That was obviously their last meeting before they did the virus. They're all working together and then they do this. They put this out and are going to frighten the people more.
It's all part of it, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's just another episode. Tune in next week for the next episode of the soap. So, yeah, it's...
Well, at this rate, he's going to have nothing to run, is he?
It's a step in the right direction.
All this stuff happening behind all our backs, but thanks for that. I'm a bit shocked that was coming out today, and a date is on there right at the bottom. It says, let's have a look. It says the 11th of January at 15:15. They put this on here. Do you think this will happen then? Do you think we'll lose our electricity in that, or do you just think it's part of their games?
I don't know. I mean, hopefully it won't come. That'll be a bit of an inconvenience, but in some ways it'll be quite funny. All these people that have in this lockdown are watching Netflix and playing computer games. It's going to be the end of the world for them. Shame.
But that's if it happens. I just think that they want us watching it all because that's how they keep us. They can't shut the internet down and the television off because they want us watching it. They want us in fear.
Yeah, well, I would have thought the technology is there for in a situation like this where you could override, like a military override of any civilian broadcast in any form. I mean, the picture we get from World War II would be pretty much the same, I'd have thought. But obviously we're in more of a technology and communication age.
Well, they want us drawn into it and they'll be wanting us watching it. But they'll make I don't like it. I'm not happy already. But thank you for that information because God knows, I knew something was going to be happening in the next few days.
Yeah, you said to me, what do you think? I said, well, there's bound to be something. But so they've gone back to the World War III card.
And
now,
so the channel you were watching, who were you watching? They reckon that it's all going to be a shutdown.
Simon Parks.
Right.
I can't vouch for the channel for what he says, and he's got quite a big following. He does seem to get the information or be privy. He seems to have contacts. That's all I can say about it. But
and you don't even know if this is truth about all these companies because don't forget they're going to make whatever history they want.
Nah, we'll be writing our own history soon. Don't worry about that.
Good. Okay then, James. For this video, we're stopping. So what James is worried about is this order here might put the internet down, but I don't. But we're going to find out later on. I'll if I can message you, I'll tell you you were right, James.
Really, I would say the message is if your internet and your phones and things go down, just be aware. That's the reason. Don't panic, really.
But is it that certain companies are going down? Because, like you said, certain companies are being taken off right now. Was it you or someone else was telling me the other day? It was you, wasn't it? That company.
Well, China seems to have so many investments in so much else. So, I mean, I haven't done any digging. I mean, who does own what when you get to that level with corporations and things?
Yeah, you think maybe like Cadbury's owns it, but then Cadbury's is owned by this, and by the time you finish, you think, oh, there's only about 3 companies that are running everything.
Well, a bit like the whole media is basically owned by 6 people. It's all the theme right from as far back as I remember with the introduction of supermarkets, killing off independent shops. It's all been about centralisation all the way through. So why has
Trump kept this from us? Wouldn't it have been I know that you're saying he didn't want it to go on the... But, you know, if you're going to do all this, which is quite a big thing, which could lead to other things, you needed to have told us when you did it, not weeks later. It's deception, just all the way is deception. I don't know why people think that he's here to help.
I mean, what goes on behind closed doors, the public are always the last to know, aren't they?
It's like even this has a time and a place when actually it should be natural and happening. Unfortunately, if it was happening really, it would just be all happening. But no, they've signed it weeks ago. So it can't be as real as they say it is. You can't sign something in November and then wait, 8 weeks before you put it out.
I think it was it's not been released to the general public, whether it be true or not, but it's obviously, there has to be, normally with things like this, there has to be a time, a bit like when you take out an agreement, you have what they call a calling off period, where you can say, I've changed my mind. It's probably something like that, I guess. It's like most things, if they're passed in law, there's normally so many days before they come into effect. So it's basically like that as far as I can see.
Well, they've definitely got it in for China.
Mm. Yeah.
And by the way, you know, everybody's worried that we owe all this money to America owns all this money to China. They do, but they own more to Japan than they own to China. So that's really strange.
What I find strange is, say, any utility service you have, you get a red bill if you don't pay the first one. And yet we're supposed to have this world debt. Well, and I've said before, if there's a world debt, would somebody like to present the bill so we can know who it's made payable to? And of course that never happens, does it? that gives it away.
All I hope is that they implode.
Oh, well, it is imploding. This can't go on. It's a wheel of a circle of time, and it's gone full circle. It just everything has always been, seems to be, everywhere you look, it all sort of points to this is the sort of big change, the change into the new age, the age of Aquarius, which
I don't see how suddenly, you know, when you owe China millions of dollars, that they become the enemy. Maybe it's because America doesn't want to pay its debt.
Well, they're saying that this whole pandemic thing was China are very much a big part of it. And then there's like the human trafficking thing is all seems to be connected to this as well. So maybe it's true about all this that's been said all the way along with Trump and it's just waiting for the right time to strike, I suppose.
No, he still has the same boss.
Well, I think it is all. It's another part of the theatre. It's just.
Or the character Trump has the same boss.
Yeah. The curtains have come back, and we're in scene 5 instead of scene 4, as it were. A bit like tearful.
Oh, it's just every day gets worse and worse. But we better finish now, James, because we've been going for 20 minutes. I mean, I'll say goodbye to you afterwards, but for this little video, thanks a lot, James.
Okay, you're welcome, and just stay calm, everyone.
Okay, James.